Hello and welcome everyone to this session today for India and Taiwan, especially focusing on joint manufacturing and sourcing from Taiwan. I welcome all of you to today's session, and it's a pleasure of mine to be today introducing to you our partners from Invest India, from Mahindra World City, from the government of Andhra Pradesh, and from the government of Tamil Nadu. Thank you very much, and special thanks to Global India Business Forum. And today's session is very interesting, especially it focuses in today's time between India and Taiwan. Taiwan, as we all know, has been on the forefront of innovation and development since many decades now. It has been in the forefront of especially machinery and manufacturing and has been a step ahead in terms of technology and innovation as compared to most of the countries in Southeast Asia. Over a period of time, the relation between India and Taiwan has grown by leaps and bounds. It is my pleasure today to be having with us representatives from Taiwan and from India that will be highlighting on this special relationships and the economy that has been developing because of the same. I would also like to thank the Bureau of Foreign Trade, the Ministry of Economic Affairs of Taiwan, the Small and Medium Enterprise Administration, Ministry of Economic Affairs of Taiwan, Central Bank of the Republic of China, Taiwan, Deputy Governor Chen, Emeka Wu, Managing Director in West Taipei, and Taitra, Mumbai, and Delhi. And thank you so much for all the support that you have given us in organizing this event while we are celebrating how we can have joint manufacturing and utilize the PLI scheme of the Government of India and enhance the productivity of the country as a whole. I would now like to invite Ajul Anthony Ji, who is from Invest India and is Senior Manager, Invest India Taiwan Desk. Welcome, Ajul Ji. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Manpreet. Good afternoon, everyone. Manpreet, just a quick thing. Should I be sharing my screen or will it be shared from your end?
You are the co-host, and so you have the permissions to share.
Thank you. Please let me know if my slides is visible.
Yeah, it's visible now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Thank this very dire situation and the crisis that's going. Great to see everybody. It's so very great to see some of my organizations from Guidance Tamil Nadu and APDB. Hello to Paul. Hello to Aditya. Hello to Ramachandra. Great seeing you guys. I hope all of you are keeping safe and healthy. And I wish and pray that everyone stays healthy and safe in this situation. Coming back to the job that is assigned to me on this particular session is to talk about the sustainable partnership, which is basically growing between India and Taiwan, and what it looks like in the resurgent India, how Taiwan and India can work together. But before I go into the between India and Taiwan's business investment industry, I want to take the audience to and what is happening here in India, so that it would be a precursor to why the relationship between India and Taiwan needs to be boosted up, and the relationship between India and Taiwan, the industrial relationship between India and Taiwan should be boosted up. I always believe in the policies that numbers don't lie. So there are just a few numbers that I just want to show the audience availability. India is an comparatively the third largest economy, the sixth largest economy when it comes to GDP in nominal terms, the number one global fintech adopter, number two in global retail index, number three consumer market in the world, and the number three largest startup ecosystem in the world. This is some of the areas where we think India and Taiwan can work together, because Taiwan has extremely focused on supplying to the consumer market across the world, and India itself is a domestic consumer market I'm sorry, is there somebody unmuting me?
No, it's perfectly fine. I think there was a technical.
Sure. Sure. Thank you so much.
Please continue. Ajay, can you hear us?
Durables, steel production, the aviation, the service is one of the largest markets for any in the industry or investor to basically not take cognizance of these numbers. India is going to offer a 5 trillion opportunity in manufacturing and services. These are some of the industries that is going to contribute a $4.8 trillion value addition in the next 2 to 3 years or 5 years. You can see each industry is huge, and in some, some of these numbers are much larger than the economies of certain countries of the world. Industry, no economy can flourish without infrastructure vision and infrastructure development. Around close to 150,000 kilometers by the end of 2025. Investment opportunities and technology sector, the energy sector, the airport privatization, the digital infrastructure which is being created. We are moving towards COVID had their own like the digital industry which is increasing. The railways, during the pandemic times, we saw how much of the railways has improved and built it. When on one side the passenger traffic had reduced, the free traffic, the progress on the dedicated freight corridors, the setting up of the dedicated freight corridors, industrial townships, all these developed during this pandemic season. The roads, the urban development, the investments in the rural sector, in contribution to the irrigation sector. Two states are here with us, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh today. We can see the scale of the irrigation projects that these two states are basically building up to actually solidify and strengthen the farming sector, because 60% of our population still depends upon agriculture for its sustenance, and increasing the product, following what is called as the intensive gardening technique, which countries like Taiwan has adopted, by actually improving the productivity per acre, and that surplus leading to the growth of an economy. That's one of those, learning exercises that India is right now doing from Taiwan, from the East Asian of growth in India. Last 20 years, India's accumulated foreign direct investment was somewhere close to $700 billion. And one might also note that out of the 700 billion that flowed into India, the 400 billion, close to 400 billion was in the last 5 to 6 years. So that's the global confidence putting their money in India. Yes, India is a nest where you can actually put all your eggs in. To the global countries or countries across the world, you can see in 3 years with the pandemic, with the COVID, with the breakdown, relatively low in countries like Europe, for example, say it's negative 4%. In North America, it is average growth is 0%. Latin America is 16%. India has a buoyancy of 16%. In China, and of course, the only region which is competing with India is currently the Southeast Asian countries. Investors, India has jumped out 79 places in the last 6 years, from 142 to 63 position. 79 places jump. It is one of the top 10 improvers in respect to ease of doing business. In all the company in India, manufacturing business in India, selling has become much relatively easier. The national government, along with the state governments, if I'm about to remember the the numbers which has been cited, almost 700 plus redundant policies, procedures, archaic laws have been completely done away with in the last 5 years to actually feel or instill that confidence that India is a market to look and invest. And proposals that we had offered from the Indian side to the Taiwanese investors, to the Taiwanese clusters, who is looking at further markets to diversify, and mechanisms that government of India has implemented to fast track investments or fast track are: one is the empowered group of secretaries, where it is basically a constitution of the high level, the secretary level mechanism, where various departments come together and discuss and give verdicts on certain pending issues or pending policies or resolutions for companies. The single window clearance, India having 36 single window at a national level. And I must say thank you to all the state governments, the investment promotion agencies, and the industries department, all the states who coordinated for launching the single window clearance. The first launch, the initial launch of this particular single clearance window was done on April 5th, and almost all states, 17 states integrated into the system. We hope by that in the coming months, all the 36 states and union territories will be integrated into the single window clearance platform. The project development cell, each sector, there are 28 PDCs, each sector is contributing to resolutions of issues under that particular department or ministry, and that's also instilling confidence for the investors. Investment without the states being part and parcel and playing a larger role. Just some of the competitive policies to attract investments post-COVID. I missed out Andhra Pradesh recently. Andhra Pradesh was #1 in the EUDB rankings, which was published by DTAA last year. Of the 187 state business reform action plans, reform action points which were needed to be implemented, Andhra Pradesh 100% compliance to all these reform action points. And if I may recall, the program that Andhra Pradesh launched is called Restart, which is also rhyming with resurgence, which Invest India is launching towards driving investments and creating their investor-friendly sentiments here in India. Tamil Nadu was one of the first states which basically came forward with special incentives and packages to the industry during the COVID situation. The first state to actually this COVID situation to come up and set up a policy or an incentive package to manufacture medical equipments. And I think 12% of all the investments that has happened in the last 1 year nationally had actually gone to Tamil Nadu. So are other states, which is basically attracting investments and emerging as non-traditional centers of excellence. And has started during the COVID situation, the phase 1 of the PLI with almost 48,000 crores in outlay, spanning across 3 sectors: the electronic sector, the pharmaceutical sector, and the medical devices sector. And the electronics PLI is something that's very close to me, because I with all the 4 companies, basically 16 companies basically applied for PLI, out of which 4 are from Taiwan. On Pegatron, and obviously the choices for these companies being the South Indian states of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka. Joining the PLI bandwagon, these are some of those key statistics that I just wanted to show the audience about the quantum of PLI outlay in the next 5 years. The advanced chemistry cells, 18,000 crores, solar PV cells, which is also somewhere in this bucket, the IT hardware, driving India's manufacturing and supply chain is something very unique to Taiwan. Taiwan, although having great names like the China, the Vistrons and the Pegatrons, the quantum computers, Taiwan Taiwan's 85% of the industries or the manufacturing units in Taiwan are in the mid-corporate and SME segment, which do not have a great brand name, but it is those wheels or the cogs which supply to all manufacturing units across the world. And at this point, I just want to emphasize some of the in India's overlapping is in the Taiwan policy wants to differentiate and diversify to other Southeast Asian, 14 to 17 Southeast Asian economies have been identified for Taiwan to basically set up its manufacturing units and to do business and to do trading. India's Act East policy, now called as the India's Act East policy, merges with Taiwan's southbound policy as well as Taiwan's reshoring program of and businesses to various countries in Southeast Asia and South Asia as well. At the highest level of institutional investment, the India-Taiwan Economic Consultation, which happened on the November 10th of 2020, saw a lot of dialogue in the non-traditional sectors, like the bamboo sector, the fintech sector, the startup ecosystem, innovation and R&D, moving on to the hardcore industries like semiconductor fabric, telecom sector. All these are being explored with Taiwan, and this even to the extent of merging the Indian Ayurvedic medicine system with the Chinese or Asian medicine system and creating what is called as a holistic, natural or to the roots, grounded to the roots medical field. That's also being explored between India and Taiwan. So of course, it just raises some alarm in my head that the trade between India and Taiwan are, decreasing in the few years. But that's also something that, one should also introspect and interrogate. We can see that, both countries are actually diversifying their markets, both, source market as well as destination markets, which means that for the Taiwanese who is actually looking to explore new markets, India is that, football where to new markets. Taiwan leading names here in India, the Foxconn, Delta, Wistron, Nadu. Nadu is actually setting up one of its largest facilities for non-woven fabric in Gujarat. Its first factory is basically going into production. Again, Nadu is very, a very unique thing because Nadu is one of the supply chain partners to a Japanese company called Unicharm. It was Unicharm's entry into India market that instilled the confidence for Nadu to come and explore the Indian market. So we see this trend coming in that since there is this queen bee followed by the worker bees, the honeybee movement concept that we study in management. All these are experienced with respect to Taiwanese investment. This is basically just a simple system that has formed here in India. We have close to 165, 167 Taiwanese companies here in India. And I want to draw the attention of the Taiwanese audience over here. Taiwanese companies in China or Thailand is in the several hundreds of thousands. I think it's close to 200,000 in China. It's almost 100,000 in Thailand. And it's almost 10,000 or so when it comes to Vietnam. But in India, it's 67. So if we are looking at the reshoring program, as well as the coming up of opportunities, the opportunities of the market opportunities, which is growing up here in India, and if we only target just 1% of these industries to move, diversify, and differentiate to India, that's enough to create a huge growth in Taiwan and India's business and investment relations. Some of the work that is being done at the Taiwan Plus desk it is basically created of an MOU between Invest India, which is under Commission for Industries and Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and between DITRA, which is under the Economic Affairs Government of Taiwan. It's an MOU between them to solely look at Taiwanese companies and Taiwanese businesses doing business here in India and investments It's a complete A to Z facilitation desk created to basically facilitate, support, and advise Taiwanese businesses to enter the Indian market. In the last few years of our existence, we have had 84 business requests from Taiwan seeking investment opportunities and business opportunities in India. And out of the 80, 40 of those business requests came in the last 12 months. So that's an accelerated interest for Taiwanese businesses here in India. Currently, we are working with almost all the Taiwanese players here in India on various, brownfield and greenfield expansions here in India, with an investment pipeline of almost close to $5 billion, and out of which almost 20% has been grounded and realized. All these investments are going to create almost 200,000 plus employment, direct employment here in India, and we look forward to at least quadruple or 5 times increase this investment figure in the next 5 years. Traditional sectors of cooperation between India and Taiwan: the electronics, the leather and footwear, the sector. Today, of about 54 of the electronic companies from Taiwan here in India, 27 are in Karnataka, AP, and Tamil Nadu cluster. So that shows the significance of the southern states in attracting and the grounding of Taiwan's investments and the affinity of Taiwan industries towards these particular states. The leather and footwear, that you Nike, Adidas, on all these players, most of these footwears are manufactured through contract manufacturing in Taiwan of Taiwanese manufacturers, and you have facilities of such manufacturers here in India, Apache, Fenty, to name a few of them, producing footwear in thousands and thousands of quantity and employing thousands in their facilities. Sectors of operation between lines, the PLI secondly, government of India is pushing. So again, great opportunities for Taiwan businesses to come and invest in India, do business in India, and choose India as its next manufacturing. It's one of the most awarded promotion 3 times in the last 6 years of inception, winning 5 times the annual investment meet UAE award for 5 times, and also the Asia Pacific Investment Promotion Award. We handhold all companies coming to India from conceptualization to grounding after their services. Currently working with almost 1,000 companies actively, with $260 billion, and also facilitating grounding of almost $24 billion in the country in the last 4 years. Again, we extend a warm welcome this to come and invest in India and take avail all the services that the Taiwan Plus desk at Invest India has to offer. That's all from my end. I hope I have not overshot my time. Thank you, Mr. Manpreet and ICIB, for giving Invest India an opportunity to speak at this great and august audience. Thank you very much.
Ajuji, thank you so much. I think it was a great insight into what we saw from your presentation, and how both the countries are coordinating, and the ground factors that you showed, the figures, like they say, the data speaks. So thank you so much for this show that we had today, and the details that you shared with Invest India. I request the Taiwanese companies that are present today to feel free to contact us or to Invest India directly to go ahead on this thing, on all their plans, and we shall be happy to assist with them. Not only this, I would like to highlight a little more on Taiwan and the electronic industry, the electrical industry in Taiwan. So we have a very small video that we would like to show the participants here that will give you an insight on the Taiwanese industry.
Taiwan stands out as an East Asian hub at the heart of the Asia Pacific, commanding well-rounded infrastructure and a well-connected transportation network. Taiwan is also the most competitive science and technology base in the world, no less than Asia's Silicon Valley of tomorrow. Under meticulous government planning, the 3 science parks in northern, central, and southern Taiwan readily form well-rounded supply chains. Combined, an extraordinary capacity for innovative R&D and the cluster effect of high-tech industries not only give Taiwan an unrivaled competitive edge, but also attract big-ticket investment from the likes of Microsoft, Amazon, IBM, and Google. Indeed, Taiwan has long ranked high in international surveys of national competitiveness, an advantage it expects to build on and benefit from in the days ahead. The world is headed toward the new 5G era. Coupled with cloud computing analytics, AI, and IoT applications and services, are ushering in a smart lifestyle through a technology revolution. Taiwan's semiconductor industry has long been a global leader in terms of both technological competence and production value. Given the ongoing impetus of the IoT and devices for smart applications, the industry is poised to build on this leading status and keep growing aggressively. Taking advantage of its comprehensive cross-generation production lines, Taiwan's optoelectronics industry has long enjoyed a prominent standing on world markets. Driven by fast-growing demand for green energy, the photovoltaics, LED, wind power, and power storage industries are thus increasingly coming under the spotlight. Strong demand for consumer electronics has long benefited Taiwan's PCB, passive components, and wireless networking industries, and they now promise to grow even further on the back of 5G communications. Separately, when it comes to the design and manufacturing of optical lens for smartphones, Taiwan is also a global leader by technological competence and production value. Alongside large-size, high-resolution display panels, curved screens, glossy screens, and power-saving, foldable electronic paper displays are also taking center stage in the panel industry. Taiwan's ICT industry has accumulated decades of R&D, design, and manufacturing capabilities. Little wonder that quite a few Taiwan-made ICT products are ranked #1 worldwide by market share. Driven by ceaseless innovation and technologies, the industry is coming up with all manner of smart applications and products. These, in turn, are set to unlock for the ICT industry a new wealth of business opportunities. The introduction of next-generation smart automobiles has given a boost to automotive electronics. From cell modules, power systems, and charging devices to other accessories, companies race one another to develop all kinds of innovative technologies to meet an anticipated outburst of market demand. In the automotive electronics sector, Taiwan's companies have also long committed themselves to developing optical lens, GPS devices, radars, and networking modules. With their integration into the Internet of Vehicles, big data analytics, and AI-enabled recognition systems, automated driving is set to trigger a revolution in transport. Smart manufacturing mainly draws on the IoT, detection technology, and smart robots to improve production processes. The accelerated development of AI-enabled smart robots is set to launch the manufacturing industry into a new era of smart factories and Industry 4.0, or the fourth industrial revolution. By implementing mass production of smart machinery and promoting turnkey exports of intelligent robots and automation equipment, Taiwan aims to make a critical link in the global smart machinery industry's supply chain. Separately, AI-enabled recognition systems are increasingly finding their way into people's lives in the form of smart surveillance and smart transport. A new frontier is taking shape for the technology sector. A key innovative component of smart manufacturing, 3D printing, has made possible a revolutionary breakthrough across the medical supplies, aerospace, automobile, and design industries. Taiwan is now home to a comprehensive supply chain of printing materials, equipment, and software. The development of VR and AR technologies has triggered a surging tide of VR wearables and 360-degree panoramic applications. With the advent of 5G, smart living is no less than a global trend, fostered by integration of big data in the cloud, IoT applications and services, and a wide variety of smart devices. Things people have long taken for granted: shopping, medical care and health management, agricultural management, commerce, and finance will change drastically as they become smart. Taiwan's technology sector has secured a critical spot on the world stage. With this cluster effect, local technology companies have accumulated extraordinary R&D and manufacturing capabilities. Innovative concepts will be adopted to align with the international community while creating the next generation smart lifestyle to grasp the pulse of the world and access international markets.
Move ahead, and I would now like to invite our state partners and Vice President of Guidance at Invest Tamil Nadu, Aditya Nagarajan ji. Aditya ji, welcome to our event today, and we welcome you to today's session. The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon to each and every one of you. Thank you, Manpreet, on behalf of ICIB for having me here. This is an interesting opportunity for me to explain what has been recently happening in the state of Tamil Nadu, not just vis-a-vis Taiwan, but vis-a-vis electronics and the industry in general. Before I start, I'd like to thank you one and all. So at the 2020 Yushan Forum, President Tsai Ing-wen highlighted the significance of the new southbound policy and reiterated the spirit of Taiwan helps Asia and Asia helps Taiwan. The new southbound policy also marks Taiwan's regional strategy for Asia, with its goals and ideals coinciding with the ASEAN outlook on the Indo-Pacific and India's Act East policy. The new southbound policy enables Taiwan to engage with like-minded partners to develop new supply chains based on shared values, reinforcing the new southbound policy. India's Act East policy today gains precedence as the economic center of gravity, as South India is gaining precedence in India's Act East policy. One such state that is making visible economic, technological, and infrastructure progress due to this is Tamil Nadu. We had Beng Wang, the Director General of Taipei Economic and Cultural Center, and he last time was in Tamil Nadu, and he reiterated that Taiwan's new southbound policy that encourages more Taiwanese companies to invest in South India. Taiwan has more than 20 companies that have invested an estimate of $2 billion in Tamil Nadu. Beng Wang also reiterated that Taiwan would be doubling these investments made by companies in Tamil Nadu in the next 5 years. He also said that Taiwan would be generating close to about 1 million new jobs in Tamil Nadu. Last 2 months back, he said that. Taiwanese companies also signed MOUs with the government of Tamil Nadu to invest over $1 billion during the Global Investors Meet 2019. Out of this, we had Foxconn and Fengte together employ over 50,000 employees in Tamil Nadu. Another Taiwanese shoe manufacturer is in the final verge of establishing in Tamil Nadu and would be employing over 20,000 employees. Foxconn has been a lever in the growth progress of Tamil Nadu, and we're happy to know that although Foxconn might have other plans in other states in India, the high end of assembly and component supply chain, be it the iPhone 11, and also I'm sure you might have read this, that the iPhone 12 was recently assembled at the Sri Perambuttur plant in Tamil Nadu. The shift in global value chains and global supply chains presents Tamil Nadu a great opportunity. Apple's marquee supplier Pegatron has set up its first India manufacturing plant in Tamil Nadu. As we're speaking, an exclusive Taiwanese cluster in Tamil Nadu is on the anvil. Land has been identified and the board is going to take a call in 2 weeks. Taiwan and Tamil Nadu has been steady progress because of the intersection of automobile, general manufacturing, and electronics. Let me give you a little overview about the state of Tamil Nadu and how we can collaborate and how the state is intending to collaborate with companies from Taiwan. To give you a little gist, Tamil Nadu is the second largest economy in India today. It is equivalent to the 46th largest economy in the world. The industrial output contribution to state GDP is about 32%, and services contribute to about 47% of state's GDP. We're among the top 3 states in India for exports, pegging at USD 30 billion. The highest state in India to be urbanized, the highest number of factories in India, and home to 75 of Fortune 500 companies. The highest factories in India at 37,200 factories is in Tamil Nadu. It ranks second in India in heavy engineering exports, third in India in general and special purpose machinery manufacturing, and fourth in the production of heavy electrical equipment. It has a steady, formidable engineering ecosystem, which gives its impetus towards a steady and strong manufacturing base. It has over 150 plus machine tool manufacturers in the state and contributes to about 28% and 21% of IC engine pumps and castings exports, respectively. We're one of the top 10 automobile hubs in the world, not just in electric vehicles manufacturing, but also in top 10, also in automobile. Every second vehicle that is exported is from Tamil Nadu. We have 35% of India's auto component production. We're one of the top 10 automobile hubs in the world, where one car every 20 seconds and one commercial vehicle every 90 seconds is the installed capacity in Tamil Nadu. The export hub for passenger vehicles with 70% of India's overall exports, and it's home to marquee players like Hyundai Motors, BMW, Daimler, Renault, Mitsubishi, Ford, Peugeot, and Yamaha. We have about 1393 factories in Tamil Nadu producing motor vehicles, trailers, and semi-trailers in Tamil Nadu. 27.45% of India's motor vehicle, trailer, and semi-trailer output comes from Tamil Nadu. Apart from this, we are the largest tire manufacturer in the country and multiple R&D centers in Tamil Nadu. We also witnessing a steady surge in Hosur near Bangalore, which is in Tamil Nadu, emerging as an electric vehicle hub. Together, we have Ather and Ola Electric set up their biggest factories there, and we're glad to welcome furthermore investments in electric vehicle capacity. We're strong in electronics, and we believe that the relationship between Taiwan and Tamil Nadu will only increase further as we strive to elevate the status of partnership with Taiwan. We're ranked number 2 in India in computers, electronics, and optical products manufacturing. Around 60% of national production is from Tamil Nadu. It's surprising that the computer and peripheral equipment accounts for 62% of total electronic output in Tamil Nadu. Also, in terms of exports, we rank number 3 in terms of electronics exports. Where major players in Tamil Nadu are Flextronics, Dell, Samsung, Foxconn, Panasonic, Delta, Pegatron, and Salcom. We have adequate support infrastructure for Taiwanese companies in India, but however, as we've mentioned, there's an exclusive Taiwanese cluster that is going to be established in the state of Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is centrally located, globally connected. What guidance is the nodal investment promotion agency of the government of Tamil Nadu. Guidance is responsible for Tamil Nadu being number 1 in economic COVID resilience. We've signed MOUs worth 88,000 crores with the conversion of 73% in the year 2021. We've also developed 7 sector specialized teams and build relationship with potential investors. What we've also done is we have an exclusive Taiwan desk here in the state of Tamil Nadu, and we have two people, 2 employees specifically who can speak traditional Chinese for Taiwanese investors. We've also constituted a special investment promotion task force under the aegis of our chief secretary and a high-level committee to examine the COVID fiscal challenges, and Taiwan is one of our partner countries in that special investment promotion task force. With the shift in global value chains, we expect a lot of Taiwanese companies to move to Tamil Nadu, specifically in electronics, the Apple supply chain, the Nike and Adidas supply chain. We're also looking at steady investments in ICT. We also have a new and improved single window portal that's on the anvil. We also have a real-time industry interface where 150 officers across 20 departments will be streamlined on a single portal. We also have a new electronics policy and the new industrial policy that has come, where customized incentives is not only given for companies that are relocating to the state of Tamil Nadu, but also ecosystem advantages that will do that. We're also coming with a land information portal where infrastructure synergies can be gained. This is a gist of what guidance what we've been doing in the last 1 year. Glad to hear from other states what they're doing, and it's a pleasure to give you a gist of what we've been doing in the last 2 years. And I hope this strengthens not only the relationship between India and Taiwan, but also Tamil Nadu and Taiwan in particular. Thank you very much.
Aditya ji, thank you so much, and a big thank you to Guidance and the state of Tamil Nadu for being with us here today and to explaining the connection that the state has with Taiwan and how we can facilitate for a better interaction between businesses of both countries, especially for small and medium businesses. I think this is an ecosystem that we would both like to highlight and bring together, and about collaborations, how we can source from Taiwan. And sourcing doesn't mean buying it and selling it in one place. It also means that getting the components from one place, doing the final assembly in India, putting 2 and 2 and making it 22 and not 4. This is the main focus that we would like to bring about and inform our Taiwanese partners that we need to grow together. The world is a big place, and getting the advantages of both the places that we have today. India has got an abundant labor, and we have abundant land available for industry. We have innumerable industries that are waiting to change their product lines, waiting to grow. We are sitting on capital, and we would like to invite them to sell their components to us for the final assembly to be done in India. Taiwan has been a source of the components and the electronics industry the world over. We would like to bring you with us hand in hand to ensure that the world is a stage. Thank you so much. I would now like to invite Kees Jan, who is the CEO of Taitoma, and he's going to be talking about this particular aspect where you can design a particular component, the design services can be availed, you can manufacture in Taiwan, you can do the final assembly in India, and that is what we would like to focus on. Welcome, Kees, how are you? And welcome to our today's session.
Thank you very much, Manpreet. Can everybody hear me? Yeah, I hope so. First, I'd like to say my feelings go out to all the people in India. I know COVID is seeing a terrible flare-up at the moment, so stay safe, everybody, and wear the masks, and yeah, all the best with that challenge. A bit about myself. I have been living and working in Taiwan about 25 years now. So obviously I do like the country. I like working with the people here. It's great. They're very nice people. An interesting thing is also that if you look at the top 10 of the biggest players, ODM companies, you will see that like 7 or 8 of the top 10 are Taiwanese firms. And that's very strange to see, actually. When Mr. Cook from Apple needs products made in China, he's a very savvy buyer. Why doesn't he go to China directly and go factory direct? No, he doesn't do that. He goes to Taiwan. He says, Mr. Go, why don't you go and build a factory in China and you manage all that? Because and the reason for that is Taiwanese companies, they have been at it for 20, 30 years in general. They have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. And in general, they make very reliable partners. And that is a very important thing in these kind of development projects. Most people will know the example of Huawei working with Cisco and making routers for them, and then not long after starting their own brand of one-on-one copies of Cisco routers. Nobody wants that to happen. So it's a very sensitive relation to do both the design and the manufacturing with the one partner. And you need to be really able to trust people. And the interesting thing is that in Taiwan in general, it seems to be the culture that they're not so interested in building their own brands. They don't have this desire to assert themselves. They are service companies. TSMC, for example, is the biggest service company in making ICs, making like 55% of the world's ICs. And there is companies like Compal that makes notebooks for all the top 10 players, but nobody knows them because they don't have their own brand. So in general, the ODM route, I think, is a very good one for small and medium companies to start having their own brand products. And yeah, you basically get an off-the-shelf product, and then you can discuss how much you want to customize it. But there are also some disadvantages to this model in the fact that you don't actually own the design. Like if you work with a company in that to make a custom toaster oven, then you work with them for say half a year to really optimize that toaster oven for the Indian market, and it needs to be a bit larger. Maybe chapatis need to fit in, and it needs to have your logo. You make custom molds, and then suddenly the ODM partner says, "Oh, I'm very sorry, but now prices have gone up 30%." Then you are in a bit of a bind because you're basically a bit of a hostage, because the ODM maker will say, "Hey, we worked for the last 15 years to optimize this notebook or this toaster oven design. So we only optimized the last 3% for you to customize it a bit, but we're never going to give you the design files, and certainly not the firmware files of our design, just so you can go to our competitors. We're not going to do that." And so that leaves you also in a vulnerable position. Another thing is that, of course, cooperation with China is not so popular these days. There's a lot of things happening in China that I'm not very happy with either. But the fact is that the supply chain from Greater China and Taiwan is still unsurpassed in the world. Nowhere else do you have so many components, such a wide choice of components, and such a range of prices. You can have very cheap components from very young, eager factories that need a lot of training, and you can have very high quality components from very mature factories that work for Apple. So there's everything. And of course, if Xiaomi or Samsung starts a manufacturing plant in India to make phones, then they just require their top 30 parts makers, PCBs, housings, camera lenses, brackets, flex PCBs, everything. They will require 30 people to set up manufacturing hubs around that new factory site. And so they don't really have much of an issue. But if you're a smaller player, you cannot require all those people making the components to come to India. So you don't have that luxury. So you need to, in my view, is still to be competitive internationally, you need to work with the components in the Taiwan-China supply chain. To make all these components play together nicely, you need to build the whole thing out in Taiwan or in China to make sure everything fits together, because you get problems of stacked tolerances, where if you have a custom PCB and a custom plastic housing and a custom metal bracket, and you all get that together in the final assembly, that is where all the problems come together. So you need to work that out either in Taiwan or in China. And once you have a stable product, then you can export kits of components to India and do your final assembly at home. I think that is a more realistic alternative in the short run. Any questions?
I'm sure, Case, that there are many questions, but we'll save them for a little bit more until we have two more people who will be presenting.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I know there's quite a list.
I request you to please be on online until we get back to the question and answer session. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Now that we're talking about manufacturing and manufacturing in Taiwan and manufacturing in India, so when you actually decide that that's the point that, okay, let it be a small factory, let it be a large factory, let it be people coming together to utilize existing resources, I think in today's time, it is all depending on time to market and the duration that you take to get the product on your market. So this is where you have the advantages of a plug-and-play system that looks ahead and that ensures that your time to market is the least possible. This is where we have organized setups in the country that we have today in India that will ensure that this type of systems work, and you have a manufacturing unit, let it be Indian, let it be foreign, let it be a joint venture. This is the time that you will actually take and ensure that your product reaches market on time, every time. Especially in today's times when we are seeing due to the pandemic that you require huge quantities in the least amount of time, the fastest time to market, let it be medical devices, let it be other related items. So this is where you have that, okay, you decide that you want to set up the final assembly in India, you want to take that price advantage, you want to ensure that you get the government subsidies that are coming your way for doing the final assembly in India. For that, I would like to invite Sri Chandrasekhar Ji, Senior Manager in Business Development Marketing, Mahindra World City and Origins by Mahindra World City at Chennai. Chandrasekhar Ji, welcome to today's session. We look forward to listening to you on how Mahindra World City in Chennai can help the possible manufacturing and the possible people that want to set up the manufacturing units and to look up. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Manpreet ji. And I appreciate your introduction. And before that, I just want to say hi to my fellow speakers, Mr. Aju Anthony, Mr. Kesan, and Arun Paul, and Mr. Manik, Aditya, Ramchandra, and Mr. Jitendra Joshi. So my previous speakers actually made my job easier, and they just gave up a clear idea on what Taiwanese investments and all. And now I just want to share some of my views on Taiwan and India collaboration, and some of our experiences in attracting the Taiwanese investments into India. So just to start with, just to give an overview, today around 150 Taiwanese companies are already established in India, and the overall investments from Taiwan is around $2.3 billion, and which has generated an employment of around 65,000 people. And that, for Taiwan is India's 35th largest trading partner, and Taiwan. India is the 17th largest trading partner. The overall trade volume is around $7 billion, which is growing 20% year to year. And the major exports from Taiwan to India is integrated circuits, machinery, and other electronic products. And the bilateral trade relation between Taiwan have improved from 1990 onwards. Taiwan has established Taiwan Economic and Cultural Center in Delhi, and India has established India Taipei Association in Taipei. So these two organizations played a significant role in improving the people-to-people connect and assist in expansion of cultural and economic political relations. The bilateral agreement India and Taiwan have signed in different fields like agriculture, civil aviation, investments, and customs. And double taxation advance agreement. The opportunity side, if you see the new southbound policy initiated in 2016, is reoriented the prime focus of Taiwanese company forms from different countries, mainly from China. And The main, Taiwan promotes 6 core strategic industries in India are information and digital industries, cyber security, biotech and medical technology, green energy, and renewable energy. The other focus are actually as my other colleague, Mr. Aditya, has mentioned. Now Taiwanese are looking at country-specific industrial parks in different locations, and especially they are in discussion with the different state governments on developing a special economic zone for Taiwanese companies exclusively. And also they are planning to come up with a lot of Taiwanese science parks, where in Bangalore they already established one science park, and the second Taiwanese science park they are planning to establish in government Tamil Nadu, where the discussions are already on. And secondly, the digital formation. Now India government has been pushing a digital formation in the country. So it's a very great opportunity for Taiwanese companies to invest in the India in artificial intelligence, where they can grab the opportunity. And the global investors are now shifting from from China to India, and this actually opens a door for Taiwanese investors to look at the India for setting up their manufacturing base to cater India and rest of the world. There are several reasons why global companies are shifting their base from China and different locations, and especially looking at India. Is there is a great competition from the local companies in China, and raising the labor cost, and the US and China trade war. And apart from that, now the lot of global companies who are having their base in China, they are not getting any incentives what they are getting earlier. Now China is cutting down their incentives, and this is actually drive down the companies to look at the overseas and have a new production base in different countries. So in this situation, India is the best option for the global companies for their new manufacturing, set up their new manufacturing facilities. And especially talk about Taiwanese companies. They established they made their business investments in Vietnam around $30+ billion dollars in Vietnam, and second major investments happened in Indonesia, and around $2 billion they invested in India. So there is a great opportunity, and I hope definitely there will be a drastic increment in the near future. And why the Taiwanese companies they are choosing China is the latest the initiatives which government of India has taken from Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat, and skilled labor, availability of abundant manpower, and the massive mobile and electronics user base in India. And the recent investments, if you see from the Taiwanese investments in India, the Pegatron, Foxconn, Wistron, and Maxis tires, and Delta Electronics, recently they made their new investment in Tamil Nadu. And another great opportunity is from a semiconductor sector, where Taiwan is holding world's half of the world's market market, and the two major Taiwanese the semiconductor manufacturing companies are based out of Taiwan, which is a United Microelectronics Corporation and Taiwanese Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. And this is another opportunity. And the major challenges what Taiwan companies looking at facing in India is the long-standing talks on FTA between India and Taiwan, and the unbalanced tax system. So the best option for both Taiwan and India to collaborate each other is by strengthening their bilateral ties, by enhancing trade and people-to-people interaction, and India can take the advantage from Taiwanese expertise in healthcare, education, agriculture. It's a great opportunity. So to attract Taiwan in the global investors, the infrastructure the good infrastructure plays a vital role. So in this case, all the private developers like Mahindra World City and other private industrial parks play a vital role in bridging the gap. So Mahindra World City today is attracting a lot of Taiwanese companies. And today Mahindra World City is having 4 industrial parks across India, Chennai, Ahmedabad, and Jaipur. In Chennai, we have 2 industrial parks. One is in northern part of Chennai, and other one is in southern part of Chennai. We are the first private industrial park developer in India. We started our Mahindra World City in 20 years before, and today we are home to 160 plus companies over 20 plus countries. And Mahindra World City is also home to Mahindra World City Chennai is home to 5 Taiwanese companies. It is strategically located. All our industrial parks are strategically located in terms of air, rail, road, and sea. And all the parks are having a national highway connectivity. And Mahindra World City Chennai is having 2 Taiwanese electronic manufacturing companies, TSMT and Pegatron. Why Pegatron chosen Mahindra World City? Pegatron is manufacturing Apple iPhone assembly unit. By considering the advantage of a park infrastructure and a conducive ecosystem in the state of Tamil Nadu. And also recently we signed up with another 3 Taiwanese companies in our North Chennai Park, which is Origins by Mahindra World City. These 3 companies are into mission tools. The name of the companies are TJR, Autogrip, and Masano. And also we have another, this Origins Chennai Park is home to 8 companies from Japan and Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. In the middle of unprecedented pandemic situation, the Taiwan mission tool companies had chosen Mahindra Park due to the industrial park ecosystem and added benefits to the manufacturing industries. And during the COVID unlock phase last year, the companies in both world cities were able to back on stream in short span of time with the support of rendered by our team and in complying with all the norms guided by the state and central government. And it clearly states that the kind of ecosystem that benefits the manufacturing companies, and why should the Taiwanese companies choose Mahindra World Cities. So this is all from my side, and I'm happy to answer in case of if there are any questions. Thank you, Mr. Manpreet.
Chandrasekharji, thank you so much. And in addition to whatever you have said, I would like to add that for Indian businesses and Indian manufacturing, the opportunity that is there to work as a vendor to these manufacturing units that are already set up in private and government industrial parks. We have with us today 2 states partners with us, which is Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. There are a lot of Taiwanese companies that are already set up here. So if you have some kind of a connection with these industries, the sectors, I encourage the Indian manufacturing units that would like to diversify to come in as ancillary units to these factories and set up near them, so that the growth is very inclusive and it trickles down to the Indian manufacturing sector too. So this is something that I would like to highlight. Chandrasekharji, thank you so much for being with us. Please stay around. I'm sure there are a lot of questions from a lot of people. So we'll be coming back to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have received a small video that I'd like to play from our partners in Taiwan. You can just give me a minute.
Taiwan is a beautiful island on the western edge of the Pacific Ocean. Blessed with the winds of freedom, a fertile land, and a sincere and kind-hearted people. Every day as the sun rises, it greets the world with great passion. With a spirit of diligence and open-heartedness passed down through the generations, we steadfastly follow the pulse of the times and forge ahead. In the spirit of innovation, creativity, and struggle, we continue to shine brightly on the international stage and show our outstanding strength and environment to the world. Sink roots in Taiwan, cast eyes on the world.
Over the past few years, DHL has made a few important investments in Taiwan. A couple of them I would like to highlight is, first one is the free trade zone in the Taoyuan airport. Comparing to all the traditional locations like Hong Kong, Singapore, or even China. And we discovered that in Taiwan, there are a lot of advantages within this free trade zone to let our foreign customers to come in and invest. And the cost to set up the regional hub in free trade zone is relatively lower compared to other countries. Taiwan has 2 major advantages. One is the superb geographic location, and another is the very advanced high technology sector orientation. So concerning the location, Taiwan is just right located in the middle of Asia. So it is with close proximity to Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, and very importantly to a very key market, China. Another perspective is the high technology sector orientation. And we found that there's a lot of good talents for high technology. So that's why we are encouraging or nurturing our colleagues to be the specialist for high technology supply chain.
在这个地理位置，那不用讲了，我们处于一个绝佳的，特别是在亚洲的这个中心的一个绝佳的位置。在营运的风险部分，我们不管是在营运的成本，或者是财务的风险上面，其实都是相对的比较健全或比较优势。所以这几个面向考虑起来，台湾其实是很值得生根耕耘的一个地方。现在政府很强调智慧城市，那 IBM 呢也在过去的4年里面，每一年都争取了我们国际的一些专家们来到台湾，跟我们的县市政府做了很多的探讨。那包含新北市政府在科技防卫的部分的议题，那屏东县政府在绿色能源的议题上，在我们政府所提倡的生产力4.0呢，我们也觉得这是非常重要的议题。因此呢，也引进国内外许多的专家来跟产业还政府一起研讨有关如何制定工业4.0的转型规模跟时程，或者是引进解决方案工具，或引进全球案例的分享，来跟整个产业来做探讨，如何进一步的把产业生产力提升到4.0的境界。
台湾跟日本有很多类似的地方，需要靠人的智慧、打拼跟努力，才有机会生存发展。台湾学校亦培养很多优秀的人才，是这一切的基础。台湾也拥有语言方面的优势，学习日文的速度较其他国家快很多。因为熟悉日文，所以对日本技术 know-how 的学习也比较快，让我们跟日本丰田母厂没有隔阂，原汁原味学习丰田母厂的制造技术。国内主动积极寻求新蓝海，2009年初，终于获得丰田母厂的首肯，向中东海湾6国开始进行整车出口的新事业，累积到今年6月，总计有33万台的完成车，创造了1650亿元的外销产值。国内因为优异的品质与高效能的生产方式，已成为丰田海外的主要生产基地。由于中东客户对汽车品质相当挑剔，因此国内汽车标榜 Made in Taiwan 等于 Made in Japan 精神，邀请客户前来台湾考察国内的生产线、品质管理跟保证体制之后，客户发现国内的品质跟制造能力水准并不输于日本，非常佩服国内的造车能力，也让国内成功的扩展中东市场。
With APEC semiconductor industry's fast growing, Taiwan Training Center was expanded to APEC Global Training Center in 2007, which it is the only training center outside of our headquarters to serve the big training demands for APEC semiconductor manufacturing fabs. From 2008 to 2010, we got MOEA's 3 years supporting program to continue enhancing the operations of our APEC Global Training Center in Taiwan. Taiwan has built strong infrastructure in IC industry since early 90s, and almost all types of local suppliers are developed and working on different commodities to support local IC fab needs. These are the advantages that Taiwan IC supply chain has demonstrated. Their track record will be helpful for them as we explore expanding our local supply chain partnership and infrastructure.
在2004年，默克正式导入了 LCD 液晶的研发中心在台湾，跟客户一起共同开发最新技术的面板。2013年，我们更导入了 OLED、LED 软性面板以及智慧窗的新技术的引进，希望跟客户能够共同开发更高附加价值的产品。政府在1980年已经非常积极的推展台湾在高科技产业的发展。时至今日，台湾已经变成是半导体、TFT LCD 以及电脑相关应用产品最重要的生产大国。那这过程里面，我们也累积了非常充沛的供应链，从上下游整合在一起。那台湾的人才更是我们非常的敬佩。台湾的人才有潜力、吃苦耐劳、忠诚度高，这是外商最钦佩的地方。非常谢谢政府在这一段过程里面，对我们土地的取得、建厂指导的取得、环安的检查等等，都提供我们非常多的协助，让我们的进展都非常的顺利。
诺华在台湾成立临床研究中心，当年因为我们的政府大力的在支持生物科技的产业，诺华总公司也评估台湾的这个医疗环境、我们的医院系统、我们的健保、我们的法规制度都有很适合临床试验的环境。那加上我们分公司极力的去争取，来设立这个国际临床研究中心。
诺华本身是一个制药厂，所以在台湾上市我们的药品是我们很终极的目标。所以呢，我们会选择跟台湾首屈一指的医学中心合作，共同来推动新药的临床试验。那么当然，因为诺华本身有生医方面的专业，我们知道台湾政府也很致力于推动台湾的生技发展，所以我们很希望自己可以成为台湾政府的最佳伙伴，共同来推动台湾的生技发展，然后创造一个双赢的局面。
I think Taiwan can be positioned as a headquarters for the region, not just China specific, but for all of Asia. And the reason why is I mentioned about how we're geographically located, very convenient to travel from Taipei to any other city in Asia. And I think Taiwan is strategically located and can very well be a platform for all different regions, all different markets in Asia. Now before, everybody thought that they want to use Taiwan as the gateway into China. That still remains. But what I'm suggesting is Taiwan should be the gateway into all of Asia, not just China. Because if you just look at China, you're limiting yourself. Because Taiwan can be the gateway to Southeast Asia, to Philippines, and to China, even into the Middle East, India, and all these other countries in that area. So I think that's something that's one of our strengths.
During the past 20 years, Taiwan's high-tech electronics industry has ranked among the top in the world. And traditional industries, such as floriculture and bicycles, have also done extremely well. An excellent location and investment environment make Taiwan your best choice for regional and global development, and constantly attract a high level of interest in investing. Taiwan, a land of beautiful scenery and a warm human touch, is not only the best partner in your pursuit of excellence, but is also a great place for you to settle and take root.
Thank you for everyone for being so patient and going through this video and the testimonies. The reason that I would like to tell all of you all to focus on is the sectors and the diversity of sectors that we have seen in the previous video. You know, you can see it is from biotechnology to automotive. So this covers such a huge amount of sector base that every company in India can associate with a Taiwanese company in some way or the other. And India is a huge market today. You know, it is one of the largest markets in the world. We have one of the largest consumer bases, and we are today exporting to the world too. So this is a huge possibility that we can look at collaborating with Taiwanese companies, buying from them, taking the components from them, assembling, and you know, a lot of possibilities that we have. Talking about possibilities, I would now like to talk about one state that is on the top of the ease of doing business, and that is the state of Andhra Pradesh. As we all know, one of the most dynamic states of India and one of the leading states when it comes to inviting foreign investments and to literally go hand in hand with all the investors that are coming in, not only the foreign investors, but even the domestic industry that wants to do anything in the state of Andhra Pradesh is given a red carpet treatment. So I request Manik Kumarji, who is representing the Taiwan desk of the government of Andhra Pradesh. Welcome, Manikji. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Manpreet, and good afternoon to everyone in India and my friends in Taiwan. 大家好，我今天来介绍 AP 榜，然后来看一些我们现在的一些特别给台湾公司去印度投资的一些优惠，然后来介绍一下我们这个 Andhra Pradesh 榜。好，那我简单的介绍一下我自己，我在台湾已经快14年了，哈，然后也会讲中文哈，然后很了解这个印度市场啊、台湾市场。那我接下来会我做一些简报，yeah. So I'm just sharing my screen. So I hope everyone can see my screen now. So I just said in Chinese that, I will be explaining about Andhra Pradesh, and also I have been in Taiwan for a very long time, almost 14 years, and I pretty much know much about the industry. So firstly, welcome to Andhra Pradesh, India's premium electronics manufacturing destination for you. 大家好，欢迎到 Andhra Pradesh 来投资。Andhra Pradesh at a snapshot. This is a snapshot about the Andhra Pradesh. This is the 8th largest state in India. Of course, it's the ranked #1 in ease of doing business. Of course, #1 rank in employability. And of course, it's a lot of connected with a lot of ports and also international airports. Very strong leadership and under the current government, best class ESGM policies keep coming up from time to time to cope up with the electronic industry needs. We have more than 40,000 acres of land bank available, to the industry. We have 24/7 power and water supplies is the most important thing, I think, which Taiwanese people are concerned about. 所以我先用中文哈。Andhra Pradesh 榜是印度的第8大的那个 state 哈，然后 ease of doing business 的部分 Andhra Pradesh 是算第1名哈，全印度是第1名。然后 Andhra Pradesh 榜有很多个这个 ports 在旁边，还有一些机场啊，国际机场都在那边。所以很方便啊，做生意或是投资啊，这一方面都是很方便的。然后学电这个部分，我们有24个小时的 supply， 所以这一方面完全没有什么问题的。那接下来我要介绍 electronic manufacturing clusters. Now I would like to emphasize more on the electronic manufacturing clusters and the growth, engine of Andhra Pradesh. So 接下来我介绍一下现在 Andhra Pradesh 有的 EMC 就是 clusters， 就是可以去那边投资的一些 clusters 哈，有4种。第一个是 EMC1 Tirupati， 第二个是 EMC2 Tirupati。你看啊，这边有好多个当地公司哈，不管是当地的或是国外的，都有去这边投资哈。比如假设了，就印度当地的叫 Carbon、Celcon。还有国外的，就中国的哈，还有台湾的叫这个 那个 Foxconn 啊，还有 Foxlink、Dixon， 还有微川，这些都有去那边投资啊。 那我们现在最新的有一个 cluster 叫 YSR EMC cluster 哈，这个是一个 world class 新的一个 cluster， 然后委托政府的 EMC 2.0的这个 scheme 来符合这些的规定来开发这个园区哈。然后 so I just explained that Andhra Pradesh is the home of many clusters. Those are strategically placed, and for example, the EMC 1 Tirupati cluster and the Tirupati 2 EMC 2 Tirupati cluster, Sri City cluster, and the newest coming up cluster, that's the EMC YSR EMC Kopati cluster, which is approved, which has received the final approval under the EMC 2.0 scheme. So it's a world-class clusters available here. Well, these EMC clusters, as I said, are strategically located along the major industrial corridors. For example, the EMC 1 and EMC 2 is located near Yedapudu node of Visakhapatnam Chennai Industrial Corridor, and YSR EMC is also located near the proposed corporate node of the cluster. So that pretty much you can see in the map that it's in between Bangalore, Chennai, and Hyderabad. So it is really accessible through various corridors of the country. So these strategic locations ensure ready external infrastructure such as 24/7 power supply, water supply, large landmark for future development. So there are a lot of possibilities of supplying the components and the products made by the Taiwanese companies to the entire nation. And in fact, they can export through our second largest availability of the port sector in India. Well, we have also the proximity to large domestic consumption centers such as Bengaluru, Chennai, and Hyderabad, like I mentioned. Also, Andhra Pradesh is a home to 3 major international countries clusters from Japan, China, and South Korea. So this is like a snapshot of the clusters. 那接下来我介绍一下 YSR EMC印度的下一个 ESDM 新的一个园区哈，这个叫 YSR EMC. So next I would like to emphasize some more information on the YSR EMC cluster, which is the next ESDM destination to India. So YSR EMC is an ideal investment destination for electronic manufacturing in Andhra Pradesh. So it is almost 500 acres of dedicated land for EMC. In terms of connectivity, you can see here that it is strategically located and connected with Kadapa Airport, which is 6 kilometers away, Krishnagara Port, and also Chennai Port, and of course the National Highway, which connects to the entire other cities and other places. So some of the nearby cities you can see is Tirupati, Bangalore, and Chennai. Also, some project highlights is that it's a part of proposed corporate node, that is Visakhapatnam Central Corridor. Also, it is adjacent to the upcoming multi-modal logistic park, which is also of 400 acres and a mega industrial park of 2.744 acres. Of course, YSR EMC is the only one to be approved by the government of India under EMC 2.0 scheme and offer best-in-class infrastructure coupled with incentives up to 100% FCI to companies. So this is very important for the companies who wants to come and invest in Andhra Pradesh. So I would like to use Chinese here. So 这里哈 YSR EMC 投资这边的话如果你们这个政府会退100%的资本投资的金额还给你们哈，所以这个很重要。So also there is a lot of potential of coming employment, such as 35,000 plus employment can be generated here. Also, we expect 1 billion plus potential capital flow in this YSR EMC. So it's a very ideal destination in Andhra Pradesh. Now, some of the policy highlights and investment facilitation, what we can do is, what I would like to stress on is the fastest approvals through single desk portal, which is available only in Andhra Pradesh. In 99 days, you can start your business, your factory. There are a lot of plug and play options available to you. Of course, Andhra Pradesh is also building ready to move shields. Almost 2 million square feet is available, so you can immediately move in to this facility. Well, other than this, there are many other subsidies which are available for 100 crore or employment below 1,000 people. One is capital subsidy. Next, we have power subsidy, and the power subsidy is the lowest in the entire country. And of course, we do have tax subsidy, 100% net SGST reimbursement for the next 8 years. Of course, we have the interest subsidy, 5% on the loan, which you get in the next 5 years. Now, next one is very important also is the logistics subsidies, which will be provided as well. So 25% reimbursement up to INR 50 lakhs per year up to 5 years, 50% of the cost equivalent to imports, firm relocated from outside India. So you see there are a lot of vast options and investment facilitations and options are given. Now, YSR EMC offers 100% of FCI as an incentive through production-linked scheme, that is PLI scheme, which has been widely, successful in India. So people from Taiwan can also take advantage of this particular scheme. And of course, I would like to stress here that investments over 500 crores can get special, policies and special incentives can be further enhanced and offered to the companies. They can directly contact us, and we would be very happy to facilitate and get understand what exactly their requirements are and help them accordingly. So here I would like to use Chinese again to explain. 如果你们来印度这边去 YSR EMC 在 AP 棒这边投资的话，当然我们也有符合 PLI scheme， 印度政府有一个 PLI scheme， 我们都有符合这个 scheme 的优惠都有拿到，然后加了这个还有这个 FCI 资本投资的金额的100%还是会退给这个公司然后如果投资超过500 crore 的话，我们另外也有一个服务，你们可以来找我们然后我们特别会帮你们做一些特殊的 package 然后来讨论怎么样让你们去觉得符合你们的要求这个是特别 Andhra Pradesh 帮的一个这个 initiative。Now the new ESGM growth story is happening in Andhra Pradesh now, and we invite you all to be a part of it. And let's invest in Andhra Pradesh. Come to Andhra Pradesh, talk to us, and thank you so much for your time, Manpreet. And over back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manikji. It was very interesting to see all this information. I would like to highlight that you mentioned about the power rate and it is the lowest in the country. So let me give you another competition from another state. I will not name the state, but they have offered for a cluster of 25 companies, if they come together, the power tariff of 2 rupees per unit. So that is something that both Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu need to look into. And any industry that a particular state is offering 2 rupees, and especially when I come from the state of Maharashtra, so we pay a pretty high tariff as compared to the rest of the country for whatever reasons. But this for the power tariff, it becomes really attractive for power consuming companies, for the manufacturing companies. So this is something that all the states need to look into. And I would really like to thank our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, for getting this sense of cooperative competition between the states of India to get investments and to get manufacturing and to get industry up and running. So thank you, Manikji, once again. And moving on to the next session, I would like to invite the Global India Business Forum. And Neelkamalji is present today representing the Global India Business Forum. Welcome to our forum, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Manpreet Singh, President ICIB. Thank you for this opportunity. Good afternoon to all the eminent speakers and the stalwarts of the industry. It's a pleasure being here. Before I start about the trade relations between India and Taiwan, I would like to introduce GIBF to everyone who is present today. GIBF, which we fondly so call and is known as Global India Business Forum, is a networking platform that helps connect businesses and businessmen globally. We help connect businesses not just at national level, but also at the international levels. I would like to summarize some of our strengths as a networking platform. GIBF strengths, we have successfully connected 90 country embassies. We have about 90,000 associate members from 137 different countries. Over 350 associations are connected with us. Our overall business turnover is close to $10.125 million. We have successfully conducted 100 plus national and 50 plus international trade fairs, exhibition, expos, conferences, and seminars. We have also sent delegates from India to different countries across the world and have also welcomed delegates from other countries like Taiwan, Afghanistan, among many others. About business tycoons, the business tycoon acts as a mouthpiece for GIBF, again, Global India Business Forum. The Business Tycoons is a monthly magazine where we feature business opportunities in different countries, sector review, and success stories of businessmen, women, and entrepreneurs or startups. The Business Tycoon magazine has subscribers over 90 countries. The magazine has an incredible digital reach of over 10 million copies. Having said that, let me concentrate on today's topic, which is about India and Taiwan trade relationship, which has been a current topic being discussed globally. India's economic interaction with Taiwan has gained momentum in the past decade with several bilateral agreements in agriculture, investment, heritage, railways, civil aviation, DTAA, industrial cooperation, SME cooperations, customs cooperation, among others. India-Taiwan bilateral trade ties have undergone extensive changes in the past decade, with trade increasing almost 6 times from $1 billion in 2000 to $7 billion in 2019. This upward trend, coupled with balanced trade, signifies the potential of bilateral trades between the nations, which, if exploited appropriately, could be instrumental for both nations. FDI inflows from Taiwan has increased almost 10 times between financial year 2018 to financial year 2019. The cumulative FDI inflows from Taiwan to India are worth about $402 million for April 2000 to December 2020. Sorry for the gap. Boost to the manufacturing sector. Now, Taiwan is highly developed and rapidly growing capitalist economy. It specializes in high-tech manufactured goods and has highly skilled workforce. Taiwan is also the fourth largest exporter of machine tools in the world. Indian economy is a developing mixed economy with abundance in labor and low wage rates. Both countries have comparative advantages in different economical aspects, and therefore increased economic cooperation would be beneficial for both nations. Taiwanese companies could shift to Indian industries as they offer manufacturing services at lower rate. At the same time, India could derive technological benefit from Taiwan's highly skilled forces. Taiwan has well-established manufacturing technology sectors. In fact, the highest number of export products fall under this category. On the contrary, India witnessed a fall of 39.3% in the manufacturing sector in April-June quarter of financial year 2020. It is quite evident that India's manufacturing sector needs an impetus, as it has been struggling to fight the market competition in the international market as well as domestic market. Partnering with Taiwan could bring in foreign investments and subsequently increase capital, which will aid the Make in India campaign. Moreover, bringing in Taiwanese companies will help India diversify its exports market, as well as Taiwan offers the technologically advanced techniques which the Indian market requires to upgrade their production, especially the food processing market. In the past few years, Taiwan giants have entered the Indian markets and have infused millions of dollars, with the investment figures going up to $360 million in the financial year of 2019. Taiwan-based corporations such as Wistron and Foxconn are planning to invest about rupees 7,500 crores in the Indian market over a span of 5 years, which will create thousands of employment opportunities for Indians. Investment from Taiwan has increased substantially over the past few years, and signing an agreement will open the market further and provide a stable business environment for investors, encouraging them to outsource their domestic operations to India. It can be concluded that India-Taiwan relationships' economic potential is underexplored. Integration of Taiwan's new Southbound initiative, under which Taiwan plans to engage with South Asian countries, is with India's At Easy policy, which is an initiative to promote economic, strategic, and diplomatic ties with Asia-Pacific regions, could lead to the formation of a highly successful and profitable economic relationship. Having said all above, the areas where organizations such as GIBF or ICIB can contribute, especially in the bilateral relationships where India and Taiwan signed a bilateral investment agreement in 2018 to promote investment flow between the two sides. The agreement seeks to ensure protection for Taiwanese investment in line with international standards, as well as the safety and rights of Taiwanese investors in India, which by saying I mean is that we will help the SMEs, the medium, small industries to grow up in the international world by either helping them sort out investor partners or help the bilateral relationship between these SMEs as with the between India and Taiwan much more successfully, where both the countries can actually expand and grow globally in the financial as well as in the trade sections. Thank you, Manpreet, for your time. And thank you, everybody, for listening to me today. Over to you, Manpreet.
Neelkamalji, thank you so much. It's been our pleasure to have you with us today. And I would really like to thank Global India Business Forum for being a part of the ICIB network. I would like to highlight to all the delegates present here today that ICIB, the Indian Chamber of International Business, works with 430 odd organizations across the globe, including India. These are sector associations, these are state chamber of commerces, these are organizations that are present in the regional areas of the country. We work with the International State Chamber of Commerce, multiple Chamber of Commerce. So we shall be more than happy to connect you for your small and medium business for the growth in India and abroad. We'll be happy to have you with us. Meanwhile, we have a very small video for you. I request you to please be patient.
Welcome to Origins by Mahindra World City, where business comes to life. The Mahindra Group is amongst India's leading and most trusted business houses, with a presence across over 100 countries and more than 20 industries. Mahindra Life Space Developers Limited, the real estate and infrastructure development arm of Mahindra Group, is transforming India's urban residential landscape through Mahindra Life Spaces and Happinest, and creating integrated cities through Mahindra World City developments in Chennai and Jaipur. Mahindra World Cities comprises special economic zones, domestic tariff areas, and residential and social infrastructure. Taking forward this legacy, Origins by Mahindra World City is a potent industrial ecosystem created to empower businesses to achieve accelerated growth. Precisely planned and future-ready, Origins is in North Chennai and Ahmedabad. Tamil Nadu is an established industrial destination. Chennai is the economic nerve center of Tamil Nadu, with well-developed infrastructure, strategically located ports, and a highly skilled workforce. Connecting Chennai and Kolkata is NH16, part of the Golden Quadrilateral, and an established industrial corridor which connects key industrial locations through the proposed peripheral ring road. This corridor is close to the city centre, provides abundant social infrastructure such as schools, colleges and residential developments. Origins by Mahindra World City in North Chennai is well connected by air, rail, road and sea. Planned on a total area of 700 acres, Phase 1 of the project is spread across 264 acres. Origins by Mahindra World City is designed to provide wide road networks, open green spaces, and seamless operations. The road network is designed to ensure smooth traffic and includes tree-covered bicycle lanes to encourage walk to work. Origins by Mahindra World City in North Chennai offers smart monitoring systems, water retention ponds, and the latest technology in water and sewage treatment facilities. This state-of-the-art industrial park offers multiple plot size options with clear land titles and 24/7 security. A truly smart ecosystem comprising hotels, restaurants, banks and housing facilities. Uninterrupted power will be supplied through an on-site substation operated by a state-owned company. Strategically planned recreational areas and several amenity centers ensures that this industrial park has a balanced and holistic environment. Origins empowers you to focus on your core business activities while we take care of the rest. A truly connected and economically evolved world-class industrial park. So come, grow with Origins by Mahindra World City. It's where your ambitions will soar and your business will come to life.
With this, I would like to open up for question and answers. Any questions that any of the audience might have, I would like to request you all to either raise your hand or one by one. We're just unmuting everybody, and please unmute yourself, ask your question, introduce yourself, and please let us know whom the question is directed to. So one by one, if we have any questions, please unmute yourself and ask a question.
Yeah, hi Manpreet. This is Sanjay Pal here. I'm VP in EPITA.
So welcome, Sanjay. Please, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a question on basically as Case has highlighted on design, development, then supply chain, and why supply chain is important, and then manufacturing. Okay, so this session is very informative. And similar, my request is like we have focused one similar kind of discussion on design and development and supply chain, because this is the thing which should go hand by hand with the manufacturing, because we have mostly we focus on manufacturing side of it, and the biggest pie of the value chain is in design and supply chain, because if you have design and development, then supply chain goes hand by hand, and supply chain is very critical for given present scenario, we have manufacturing here, but still supply chain is somewhere else, and this will only come when we have a design and development. So I think as a state, we'll be more interested if we have some leads in design and development, and of course that will go hand by hand with the supply chain. So as I think you have pointed out, like when we say supply chain components, maybe some of the components, not just importing it, maybe assembling those components or doing some value add locally in the components. That also helps in developing supply chain ecosystem and various other facility in the state or in the country.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much. And I would really like to take this up with your suggestion that very soon we will have some kind of a session on the design and development also.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any
Hi,
other questions?
yeah, hi Manpreet, this is Sumant here.
Hi,
I think,
Sumant.
yeah, I sent my question earlier also through mail and chat box, but I'm repeating it here. I don't know how to address this question. So basically, what is the scope of joint manufacturing with the Taiwanese robotics firms or robotics component manufacturing firm, and particularly for India? And we are promoter of first robotics tech park of India at Greater Noida, and looking for hosting and participating with Taiwanese-based high-tech and robotics firms. So any guidance in this area?
Perfect. What we can do is we can take this offline and we can connect you with some of the Taiwanese manufacturers. Not only that, we are through this session, we have been informed by the ministries in Taiwan, and especially the small and medium businesses, that in case any of our companies in India would like to connect to any Taiwanese company, so TAITRA is there in New Delhi and in Mumbai. We shall be happy to assist you and look at Taiwanese companies and approach them. And not only that, the small and medium industry also is supporting us on this initiative. So as you have mentioned that you've already sent the mail across, so we will be happy to connect you with those. Thank you so much. I think there's somebody, Mr. Raj has put his hand up. Raji, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yeah, Mr. Manpreet ji, good evening to you, sir. I am Raj Tejuja from Mohan's Group. We are the pioneers from telecommunication in India from Mumbai. I would be very much interested in joint ventures or any assistance. We had imported some material also from Taiwan, by the way, for our intercommunication system, push buttons, key telephones, and etc. I would be happy to associate with Taiwan. So if some joint venture can be arranged, I'll be highly pleased, sir. Please assist me as and when it's convenient. Thank you, sir.
Raji, thank you so much. I'll ask our team at the office to get connected to you, and we should take it up from that. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you once again, Manpreet ji, for putting up an excellent show. Thank you once again.
Thank you. I just hope that all the companies from Taiwan and India that are present here, they get to benefit and they get to utilize these resources that are available to them. Any other questions from anyone?
Yeah, it is a mutual beneficial thing for Taiwan and India. It's an excellent thing. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Any other questions? Last question, maybe. Okay, so I guess there are no more questions. So I would like to invite Shri Ashutosh Chauhanji, who's the chairman for our International Relations Committee, for the vote of thanks. Yeah, yes, please.
Manpreet, yeah. So I raised actually hand, but there is a low network connectivity, so
No
that
problem.
hand was not
Please
raised
go
that
ahead.
moment.
Please go ahead.
Manpreet, two sectors I want to focus here. What about the textile? Means if you want to export cotton materials to Taiwan, is there any opening? Another thing is that in spices, particularly for a turmeric finger, is there any opening? Or extraction of a turmeric like a curcuma or the turmeric juice? These two sectors I want to know that. Is there any opening for export?
As far as the data that we have received and the kind of information that we have seen, so Taiwan itself, curcumin and other extracts, yes, there is a scope. But if you ask me about the spices as such, not much, because the palettes are very different. It is more of a Chinese palette. So if that kind of, but we'll look into this and we shall let you know if that can be done. For textiles, Taiwan is known for smart textile and smart manufacturing. So if you say that cotton, yes, that is definitely a raw material for their products, but it's predominantly a synthetic and smart technologies and synthetic-based manufacturing. But yes, definitely, Taiwan is an importer of cotton yarn and cotton.
Thank you, Man.
Any other questions from anyone? Okay, so Ashutosh ji, I request you to please give the vote of thanks.
So I hope I'm audible to all of you.
Yes, sir, please go ahead.
Right. So first of all, namaste to all from India and from Taiwan who have been joining here in this session, very interesting session. My name is Ashutosh Chauhan and I represent in Indian Chamber of International Business as Chairman of International Relations. So I would like to start with my words of appreciation for the solidarity and for the optimism demonstrated during these hard times by participating organizations from India and from Taiwan. So respective governments, departments, and agencies with their representatives, ICIB members and teams, attendees from around the world, and dignitaries and guests who have joined this wonderful session. I would say that during this pandemic, it's our cumulative duty to promote the cross-border business and trade, and most importantly, investment exchange in order to revive and strengthen the economy. And we at ICIB, with all our associate governments, states, and companies, are on the mission by introducing our Global Investment Connect initiative. So I am thankful to ICIB President Mr. Manpreet Singh for this continuous leadership and providing a friendly and result-oriented ecosystem within the organization and with our counterparts, as a result of which we have been continuing with such a wonderful people and organizations, such exciting programs. As ICIB, we are thankful to Mr. Aju Anthony, representing Invest India, Taiwan Desk, Government of India. We are thankful to Mr. Kejian, CEO, Titoma, Taiwan Design and Manufacture with Taiwan. Thanks to Mr. Arun Paul, VP Guidance, Tamil Nadu State Government. Thanks to Mr. Aditya Nagarjun, VP Guidance, Tamil Nadu State Government. Thanks to Mr. Manik Kumar from Taiwan Desk of Andhra Pradesh Electronics and IT Agency, Andhra Pradesh State Government. Thanks to Mr. Ramchandar, representing Andhra Pradesh Electronic and IT Agency, Andhra Pradesh State Government. Thank to Dr. Jitendra Joshi. I think he was not present here, but still we are thankful to Global India Business Forum and Ms. Neil Kamal to present such a wonderful presentation of Global India Business Forum. Thanks to Mr. Chandrasekhar from Mahindra, with a special thank to Mahindra World City and Origins by Mahindra World City for supporting and empowering ICIB to organize such a wonderful event. With all my gratitude to the participants and attendees, I hope for future business convergence and investment exchange between India and Taiwan. And I hope for your repeated participation in our future initiative for Global Investment Connect. Thank you everyone for attending and addressing the wonderful summit, and hope to see you again. Thank you and namaskar. So I think